87% of executives report making decisions with incomplete information as their primary source of stress. Yet the companies that outperform their peers during volatility don't have better information. They have better processes for acting decisively without it. The real cost of uncertainty isn't the fog itself. It's what leaders do in the fog. A McKinsey study found that during market disruption, 40% of senior leaders freeze decision-making while waiting for certainty that never comes. Others panic and swing wildly between competing strategies, burning credibility and exhausting their teams. And then there's the silent killer, delegating uncertainty downward. When you don't model how to lead through ambiguity, your organization learns to wait instead of move. Your best people leave. Your window closes. The leaders who navigate this differently aren't smarter. They've simply accepted a truth that most executives still resist. Perfect information is a myth. The only question is whether you'll build a decision-making architecture that works in the real world. In the next 8 minutes, we're going to rebuild how you think about uncertainty as a leadership asset rather than a liability. You'll see 3 frameworks that separate leaders who emerge stronger from those who emerge damaged. The first shows you how to make high-stakes decisions on a 60% confidence threshold, without losing your risk guardrails. The second reveals why transparency about what you don't know builds more trust than false certainty. And the third gives you the mechanism to turn organizational anxiety into velocity. These aren't theoretical models. They're the operating systems of leaders at Stripe, Southwest Airlines, and Netflix who've made uncertainty their competitive edge. First framework: structured optionality. This is how you make decisive moves without pretending you know what you don't. Here's the evidence. A 2023 MIT Sloan study of 347 companies navigating AI integration found that leaders who explicitly mapped multiple futures before committing resources outperformed linear planners by 32% in execution speed. Why? Because they'd already thought through the branches. Their confidence wasn't built on certainty. It was built on preparedness. Look at how Stripe handles this in payments infrastructure. When the CEO made the decision to expand into Latin America in 2019, the market was fragmented. Regulations were shifting monthly, and the economic outlook was unstable. Stripe didn't wait for stability. They mapped 3 scenarios: rapid growth, stalled regulation, and competitor consolidation. For each scenario, they identified decision points and fallback positions in advance. When conditions moved, they weren't reacting blindly. They were sliding along a pre-drawn map. Here's how you apply this immediately. Take your next major decision. Don't try to predict the future. Instead, identify the 3 most plausible futures. For each one, name 2 to 3 decision points that would tell you which future is unfolding. Then pre-commit to your response for each branch. You're not guessing. You're systematizing. You're turning uncertainty into optionality. The second dynamic separates executives who retain trust during volatility from those who lose it. Weaponized transparency. This is radical candor about what you genuinely don't know. The evidence comes from research by the Center for Creative Leadership. Leaders who explicitly acknowledged uncertainty while maintaining confidence in their decision-making process were rated 28% higher in trustworthiness by their teams than leaders who projected false certainty. Teams don't expect you to know the future. They expect you to be honest about it and steady anyway. Southwest Airlines demonstrated this brilliantly during the 2008 financial crisis. Their CEO didn't hide the fact that fuel prices, bookings, and the banking system were all in freefall. Instead, He sent weekly communications saying explicitly, "Here's what we know. Here's what we're watching. Here's why we're making this choice despite incomplete information. And here's how we'll adjust if conditions shift." He wasn't hiding fear. He was distributing responsibility. His teams didn't check out. They doubled down because they understood the reasoning. Not just the order. Your application. In your next team meeting or board update, name 3 things you genuinely don't know about your situation. Then explain why you're moving forward anyway. Watch what happens to your credibility. Your teams aren't looking for clairvoyance. They're looking for clarity about the map, the compass, and the courage to walk forward despite fog. The third framework is how you metabolize organizational anxiety into forward motion. This is called velocity clarity. Evidence. Gallup's 2024 workplace study showed that 63% of workers in high uncertainty environments experience productivity decline unless leadership provides explicit frameworks for action. The highest performing teams didn't have less anxiety. They had better channels for it. Netflix's leadership during the streaming wars shift in 2022 is the textbook case. When the company faced subscriber losses, password sharing regulation, and advertising model uncertainty simultaneously, CEO Ted Sarandos didn't pretend the situation was simple. He created a communication architecture, a clear decision-making framework explaining what the company would prioritize, monthly metrics showing which bets were working, and weekly mechanisms for teams to flag emerging risks and escalate fast. He turned anxiety into signal. Teams had a channel for their uncertainty rather than a culture of silent worry. Here's how to implement this. Create 3 things. A visible decision framework that shows how you'll allocate resources and adjust priorities. A metrics dashboard that teams watch for early warning signs of failure. And a rapid escalation process where anyone can flag risk without permission. You're not eliminating anxiety. You're turning it into data that moves you faster than your competition. Picture the executive team you want to lead in 18 months. They're not paralyzed by what they don't know. They're moving with precision despite it. Your organization has become known internally and externally as the place that acts decisively in volatility. Your best people aren't leaving for stable companies. They're staying because you've taught them that uncertainty isn't a career dead end. It's a proving ground. Your board is asking fewer questions about your decision rationale because they've seen your process work multiple times. Competitors who got better information are still making slower moves because they're bottlenecked, waiting for certainty. You're not the smartest person in the room. You're the fastest decision maker in your market because you've built an operating system that works when the map is incomplete. This shift doesn't happen by accident. It happens because you started treating uncertainty not as an exception to normal business but as the actual business. If you're serious about leading differently in the next cycle of volatility, you need to rebuild how your organization communicates around decisions. That's the subject of next week's video. How to design a decision communication architecture that accelerates execution and kills the rumor mill. Subscribe to Apex Minds and hit the notification bell. We release weekly frameworks that actually change how you lead. Share this video with someone on your leadership team who's struggling to move decisively right now. They need this permission structure. Thank you so much for watching this video. If these insights resonated with you, please subscribe to Apex Minds D4J and hit the notification bell so you never miss our weekly content. Share this video with a colleague who needs to hear it. We will see you in the next one. Keep pushing forward. Thanks for listening. If you found this valuable, Please subscribe to Apex Minds D4J for more powerful insights. See you in the next one.